I'm live. Good morning. If you're watching this as a rerun, you can skip ahead about 20 minutes or so. Just getting things jacked up here, ready for the stations to be ready to log in here and enjoy. What is this video? Golf swing. Okay. Getting into it. Morning, Waylon. There we go. Let's see here. What else going on here? Well, morning, Wayne. Josh, good morning. Good to have you guys with me this morning. I think it's time for the old ivermectin day. I think I need a new needle. Whoops. That's dripping everywhere. Oh, shit. I got ivermectin everywhere. Crap. Well, my phone won't have any lice. That's a good thing. All right, so breaking down to the end of what people bring me for hunting and whatever. Breaking down the old school stuff here today. Okay. And it was open. Not that much. I think somebody had one drink. That's my ivermectin mix here for however long it takes to get rid of this thing. So I guess you can say going to church today. Me and the Lord. I was actually in church yesterday. Still people that drink that. It's unbelievable. Ugh. Yikes. Oh, yeah. That'll make your hair stand up. Morning, Dave. Good to have you over that way. Good deal. Mr. Bulgy, good morning. Oh man. It's an aftershock on that stuff here. Mike Wagner filling in for Todd, the radio guy. Good morning, Magic Mike. Good enough. Hopefully all is well in the world. Mike, I think they call people like you and I and the cockroaches of radio. Seems like we're always there in the weekends, right? Mr. Cox, good morning. Sorry I didn't get back to you yesterday. I was at a funeral. I was at a funeral for the guy that started the elk hunts in southwest North Dakota. He passed on. And you probably know him. Gene, you probably know the guy. He basically lived in Mobridge on that corner lot in the campground on the other side of the bridge over there on the town side. Mr. Willard Swanky. I guarantee Mr. Chemnitz knows him. There's no doubt about it. So, morning, Dan Brown. Good to see you. And that's how we roll. Otherwise, radio would be dead. Yeah. Isn't that something? On the weekends in North and South Dakota, very few stations have live announcers. Yeah, ask Brent. I guarantee he would remember him. It was we laid him to rest. It was a really neat funeral. Yes, I hate to say that. I know that sounds kind of goofy, but So Willard he also loved working with wood. He made his own casket years ago out of cedar that he took off of his own ranch. And he was a jokester as well here. So it was a cedar coffin and the whitetail antlers for the handles. And on purpose, he left one of them loose. So when you lift it up, and Willard was a big boy, one of the pallbearers would get worried about it, and it worked very well. So anyway, going to the Tuttle Cemetery, they took him to, I think it was about 5 miles away, and they loaded him on. Ron Houso had a team of horses with a old school wagon, and all of the pallbearers were on horseback leading the way. The team with the coffin and anybody who wanted to ride on that, and all the kids and grandkids and great grandkids were all on horseback, and they took him to his last ride up that way, and they lowered him down with old lassos, and we finished a bottle of whiskey, handed it around, and he got the last shot. So that's the way you want us to be sent off right there. It's pretty cool. So Willard knew him since the 80s. Didn't know he passed. Yeah. So he passed on. Yeah. A lot of people knew Willard. Shit. When I first moved back down here to the ranch, he was the first guy to ever contact me, take me out to breakfast, invite me back into the community, and been on my show a few times, especially during the Measure 5 issues that we were discussing many years ago. So, yeah. Well, there you go. Kind of makes you think, how do you want to go? Do you have that lined up yet? You got see how that works out here. Morning, Karen. Say, Karen, send me an email with the production email that I send the spots to directly to you, please. Send it to my email, scott@ndsupernet.com, please. So, yeah, there you go. That's my upcoming. Let's see. I had one of the pallbearers was Dave Erlocker. Sat and had a couple beers with Dave after the funeral there, and his son, Jay. He'll be one of the judges in the Amadon Fair Rodeo and Ranch Rodeo coming up. Yeah. Good stuff. All right. So you guys can call in today. 8889 Dakota. That's 888-932-5682. Talking with Curt Shirado. See, it's been a long time since I talked with him. Lori, that was the best send-off ever. I've seen, unfortunately, as the older you get, the more funerals you go to, right? That was probably one of the better ones. Absolutely. And nothing makes me giggle more when you have Catholics and Lutherans in the same place doing the Lord's Prayer, and Lutherans always want to add this stuff at the end of the prayer. And this was a Catholic prayer, and all of us stopped, and all the Lutherans were mumbling something, and they all stopped halfway through like, oh. Makes me giggle every time I hear it. Good stuff. All right, let's call old Shirado up here. Mr. Shirado. Look at his picture even comes up right away. All these new phone tactics going on here.
Hello.
Mr. Shirado.
What's going on?
We're just live on YouTube here before we get going in the regular show, so we got
okay.
10, 12 people are waiting for some guidance before we start the show.
What kind of guidance are we looking for?
I don't know.
I can travel guidance. We're traveling down the highway.
Where are you headed?
In Minnesota. Out to Algoma to do some salmon fishing.
Salmon fishing, huh?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember, I know you used to hunt down in this way. Do you remember a guy by the name of Willard Swanky?
I do.
He passed away. We had his funeral yesterday.
Oh, you're kidding.
And
sorry to hear that.
I was just talking a little bit on the YouTube side here with some folks that remember him, And it was
Yeah,
it was a really good send off. We had a team of
sure.
horses and wagons and took them to
Nice.
there, and all the pallbearers were on horseback leading the way, and all the kids and grandkids and great grandkids were on horses following up. And
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, it was a great send off.
Yeah, no, we I think we bumped heads with those guys, and I think we did some taxidermy worm work for either him or his son, who
Yeah.
may have been was one of them in a wheelchair?
Yeah, his son Kevin. Yeah.
Okay, that's who it is. And we did some work at Dakota Taxidermy for him
Okay.
when I worked there years ago.
Yep.
So that's how I got to know him. And then I think when I had my last antelope tag down there, I think we kind of bumped heads with them at their ranch down there too. So that's kind of where I remember it from. Yeah, well, that's too bad.
Yeah. Well, we're getting that age where you get to see more funerals than weddings anymore.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, that's just the way our age goes and our life and our cycle of it all, for sure. Yeah. But,
so, are you going salmon fishing with a guide or a company, or are you guys just going out with somebody you know?
Well, I'm going to say a little of both.
Okay. Yeah.
JW and I have been coming out here for a lot of years. We met some people years ago at the Bismarck Sports Show. Troy Madsen is his name. He's one of the owners of Kin Sport Fishing. We've done a lot of video and shows for these guys over the years.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah, we kind of just introduced ourselves years ago and become friends. He's a big, obviously, fisherman and hunter. He comes out west, does a few things, big adventures, Alaska and whatever else he likes to do. One of his other partners has, I don't know, I'm going to say coon dogs or hound dogs or whatever they like. They like to bear hunt, cat hunt, and all that good stuff. So they're avid outdoorsmen, great people, great community. So to kind of answer your question, they're friends of ours now, but they run a great business out of Algoma, which is just east of Green Bay. We're going to go into Green Bay today for a little bit and tool around, and then we saddle up with them. We always come out a day early just to kind of see the sights and revisit some pubs and stuff, and then we fish Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday with them.
Good deal. Good deal. And
so
that was King, K-I-N-G?
No, Kin, K-I-N-N.
K-I-N-N.
With then an S. Kins with an S on the end. Kin Sport Fishing.
I'm trying to pull them up here, so I have, there it is.
Yeah. Yeah, great.
Kinscatch.com with K's.
Yeah, yep. Great people, great community. They probably run 10 to 12 charter boats. Great captains. They work as a group. You know, they communicate with each other and try and get all their people on fish. There's no guarantees. When we go out, we've had a lot of great trips and some tough ones.
So what style of salmon are these here?
These are going to be king salmon. Just what we have in our lake. They're freshwater salmon.
Okay.
Same as everything back home.
Just bigger, probably.
Well, on a given year, yes. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like ours, only they cycle. You're talking Lake Michigan. This thing's a monster. They do this all summer, and with that, you're going to catch steelhead, some brown trout, and then a lot of the kings. Okay. But in the spring, they do a coho run, which is down south further out of Winthrop Harbor, about an hour south of there. And it's kind of a meat fest. You go down there, they're smaller salmon. They're great eating. They're better eating than these kings. And it's pretty much a limit of them every day. But they're 2 to 4 pound fish. So, but it's a fun deal. We did that years ago too. And if you want to fill the freezer up, that's a great thing. Take kids, take families. Yeah,
I'd like it. I think this is going to be on my next fishing trip list.
Yeah. Well, if you want to go catch fish, go down with their coho run in the spring. I mean, it's awesome. We stayed there.
Yeah, that's tough for me. I always got calving going on, you know.
That was the problem with us. JW was always in school, so we did make it happen one year, and it was pretty fun. You're an hour from Milwaukee and an hour from Chicago, so we took in a Cubs game while we were down there and saw some sights down there too. But it's all fun. They run it. They do walleye charters on Green Bay, and then their specialty is salmon out of Algoma. So it's a good operation. They're the lodging. They got condos all over town. Accommodations are super. They all got grills there. You could just come out here, bring your cooler full of food, beer, whatever you want to do. You basically show up and jump on their boat. They license you up right there.
Nice.
And you really just drive out here. That's all you got to do. We got nothing with us, a duffel bag and a cooler.
Yeah, that's all you need.
That's about it.
I like traveling simple and light. Stations, 7:03:15, 7:03:15 countdown coming up on Mark. We're back timing wise. So 2.5 minutes of showtime there, Mr. Shirado.
For sure.
We got some questions coming in here. We'll start out the show here. We'll probably have you discuss exactly what you said again.
Yeah, that's fine.
Man, is it hot in the studio this morning? Woo!
You know, when we were cruising down the highway in JW's Tundra, and bust the air conditioning on me already. It's cooled off though a lot. We stayed in Fargo last night. My brothers had a really awesome shrimp boil, and
nice.
got out in the vehicle this morning. It definitely cooled off a lot since yesterday. But weather down here is going to be in the mid 70s and chance of rain, so we could run into a little foulness. But we're excited.
So we have a shrimp boil at our branding every year down here too.
Yeah,
I shouldn't say that. Dixie has a shrimp boil. and it's more than that. Too. We have sausage and everything else for people that don't eat shrimp. But it's good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, they mix it. They put sausage, corn, potatoes, onions, shrimp, a couple different sausages in there, and you just boil it all and dump it out on a piece of paper and finger food it and throw it on a paper plate. You're done. No mess, no fuss. It's pretty awesome. I like it.
Easy peasy, man.
Absolutely.
So,
not much to it.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about the Dakota Walleye Classic too.
Sure.
I really need to get out with you guys and just learn some different tactics.
Yeah.
We were forced day 2 to change up tactics, and we caught bigger. We got one.
Really?
Well, we had 2 nice ones. One of them got off right at the boat, but the other one weighed more than our first day of 2 fish caught.
Total.
So,
why were you forced, or what forced you, if you don't mind me asking?
Because we left all our crawlers back in the pickup in the cooler, and we didn't have any live bait.
So what did you get forced to? Crankbaiting?
I went to crankbaiting. Absolutely.
Okay.
And it worked really well. Caught a lot of species of fish, and a lot of big ones too, but different species, but definitely a lot bigger fish. But here we go. Stand by.
Add to a story. I'll add to that story.
15 seconds here. Stand by. Here we're going to go quiet here for the stations. 10 seconds to go here on Mark. Good morning and welcome to the Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors, heard all across the Dakota Territory on great radio stations like KGFX in Pierre, South Dakota, KOLY in Mobridge, South Dakota, K-Fire 550, the voice of the Northern Plains, Bismarck, Mandan, KCJB 910 in Minot, and the Western Edge, KLTC 1460. Thanks for tuning in this morning here all across the Dakota Territory and around the world too. Thanks, my friends, up on all my subscribers on my YouTube channel, Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio. Thank you so much. Curt Shirado is my guest here. You've seen him on Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV. You've seen him on the podium at the Dakota Walleye Classic. Mr. Shirado, it's been forever that you and we even saw each other at the fishing tournament. Like, it has been absolutely forever since we sat and talked a little bit.
It has. I think every time we do cross paths, kind of one of our same stories comes up of our very memorable pheasant hunt from years ago.
A great pheasant hunt. Yeah.
It was. It's still one of my favorites. A lot of good memories from that day for sure.
It's rare that you find somebody that not only likes, just kicking back and not like having to do filming and all that, but pheasant hunting, listening to old country music, and having a beer, so it's rare that you find that. sometimes all three, but we clicked on all three of those areas.
Absolutely, running on all cylinders.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. Well, right now you're on the road here to which part of the big lake are you headed to here?
We're headed to the central part of Lake Michigan in Wisconsin, a little town called Algoma, about 30 miles east of Green Bay. We drive right through Green Bay. We kind of take a little touring thing going on there. In the past, we've taken in a preseason Packers event. They have family night there, usually about this time of year. And then 30 miles east of there, beautiful farm country going through there. Then you're in a little harbor town right on Lake Michigan. Beautiful community, nice people. We've been doing it, I'm going to say 8 to 10 years now, maybe. Yeah, just a fantastic place to go visit, hang out, and just kind of kick back.
Now you're going out for a fishing trip here at KINNS. Kins Sport Fishing is who you're going to be guiding you out that way. Here's some friends that you guys met at the Bismarck Sports Show many years ago and going out salmon fishing, I hear.
Yeah, kind of what you said. We bumped heads years ago, and Troy has become a good friend of ours. We communicate year round. We meet him up in Winnipeg usually once a year, twice a year. They come out in the Dakotas and chase coyotes all the time. They go into Montana. They're avid outdoorsmen. Great people. They're like you and I, but they run a super business out there. He's actually, if I remember right, Troy grew up around the Devil's Lake area, and went out that way. Has family out there, but it's one of those trips where you just go out. You take nothing. You take a duffel bag and a cooler with, and you go. And they pretty much supply everything. You just show up. They take care of your licensing, the boat, the fuel. The lodging, their condos. They have condos rented all over town that they put you up in. Beautiful places. Some of them right on the water. Some of them a tish off the water, but grills, totally supplied places. You can bring your own food and just hang out there, or you can, visit the pubs in town for some beers and food. But just a great community, a great operation. We enjoy coming, whenever we can. Fishing is fishing. We've had a lot of great trips and some tough ones, but they make it enjoyable to come back to.
So you're going after salmon. A question comes up here. The mayor of Mobridge says, what's the most sought after salmon that people go after?
It's got to be king salmon because they're the biggest.
Yeah.
And these are freshwater salmon, so they're not the kings that you catch up in the ocean on the West Coast and stuff, or Alaska, but they can get large. I think a few years ago when we were out, they caught their state record. You'd have to look it up, but I would say it was 40 some pounds, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe close to 50. But our typical fish here are anywhere from 5 to 15 pounds. We've caught low 20s. I think JW mounted a 27 pounder, and I did a 23 pounder. But they're like the salmon you catch in the Dakotas and Fort Peck and down in Pure and stuff, but typically bigger. They have a lot of steelhead out here and some huge brown trout. And then springtime, they run a coho run a little further south out of Winthrop Harbor, it's called. But if you want to stock your fridge and freezer full of salmon, they are the best eating salmon. They're fun. They're acrobatic. They're not real large, but they're fun filled. And if you want to take kids and family, and you can get away that time of year, I would say the month of May is probably their hot time down there. And out here, they move all their boats back to Algoma, June, July, August, September. So yeah, a lot of fun.
So what are you using to go after these fish here? How's the rigs set up, and what are you using for bait or lures?
Yeah, it's amazing. They'll run a full spread of anywhere from 12 to 14 rods off, 6 or 7 off each side. They spread them out. They run some on downriggers below, but most of them, they'll run from, let's say, 70 feet down all the way up to the surface. They'll just flatline some of their baits, and they set up. It's just amazing how they can run all those lines. And when you catch a fish on the outside rod, it just tows it all the way to the back, and you bring it straight up the middle, and the other lines stay out. Very, very seldom do you get a mess. Yeah, it's kind of a it's just cool to see their setup, the way they have their lines on length and depth, and they got a swath that they run through, and I mean this lake is hundreds upon hundreds of feet deep. Sometimes you're not very far off the the land, but one year we ran about a 20-mile run out east, further into the lake where the fish were. But usually you're just a few miles out, and yeah, they run a spread, a lot of spoons. They run a lot of squid and herring and stuff out there back in the Dakotas probably, but they run a lot of different things out this way.
It's one thing then to keep all those lines. You have that many lines not getting tangled up. Do you take any of what they do and take it to fishing tournaments in the Dakotas here for walleye fishing? Is there anything that crosses over at all by not for bait and lures probably, but I mean just how they use planer boards or whatever?
For me nowadays, I'm going to say no, but you put it towards the salmon. It's weird because back home we don't fish in the night very often, but out here we'll be probably getting up at 2:30 a.m. and we meet them at 3 a.m. and we are on the water fishing. I remember years past, I remember my work alarm going off at 6 a.m. and we'd already had 15 fish in the boat.
Nice.
So their early mornings are their best. I mean, they'll run like a 4-hour excursion in the morning and a 4-hour in the afternoon, but mornings typically I'd say out here are best, and it's right at daybreak, in the dark and towards daybreak. What they do here, obviously the way they do their setup, anybody can learn from that. Baits, they use some of the old salmon guys would know what I'm talking about. There's a bait called a J plug that are kind of hard to find nowadays, but they'll thrive over those things, and just their setup alone is amazing. The way they operate and set things up is pretty cool.
It's always nice to go see different setups. There's no doubt. Well, Curt Shirado from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV heading out to do some salmon fishing in the big waters here on the big water. Coming up your way here, we'll have more. If you have any questions, comments for Curt, you can send them my way. I'm live chatting on my YouTube channel, or call 888-9-DAKOTA back after these messages. Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, bowmanlivestockmarketing.com.
Agriculture is a community of hard work, passion, optimism for the future, and a commitment to the livestock and land. For over 80 years, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been a leader in ag financing. Our local lending team knows the industry and the challenges, from droughts to winter blizzards. Stop by one of our branches today in your work boots or cowboy boots. You're always welcome.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Freedom Repair. Whether it's a tractor, baler, your cutter, your combine, or air seeder, Freedom Repair comes to you and helps you get fixed up and back in the field. 19 plus years experience. Give Lucas Kelly a call at 701-440-1945. That's 701-440-1945. Freedom Repair, veteran-owned and operated. MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Mo Rest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer.
Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy.
Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty would like to invite you to their next equipment sale coming up on Wednesday, August 7th. It's the Weisenberger Retirement Auction out of New Rockford, North Dakota. On Wednesday, August 14th, it's an online-only Upper Midwest August 2024 equipment auction. And August 15th is the Bricks Farm Equipment Retirement Auction out of Breckenridge, Minnesota. For more information and a bid with confidence, go to Pfeifers.com today.
For over 80 years, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been a leader in ag financing because we understand the business of creating relationships is more than an interest rate. Agriculture is a foundation to the community, and we are here to help your operation expand, grow, and continue to the next generation. Talk to our ag lending team today.
Community looking out for you. At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, bowmanlivestockmarketing.com. Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty would like to invite you to their next equipment sale coming up on Wednesday, August 7th. It's the Weisenberger Retirement Auction out of New Rockford, North Dakota. On Wednesday, August 14th, it's an online-only Upper Midwest August 2024 equipment auction. And August 15th is the Bricks Farm Equipment Retirement Auction out of Breckenridge, Minnesota. For more information and a bid with confidence, go to Pfeifers.com today.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition. Good to have you along here this morning across the area. My guest is Curt Shirado with Ultimate Outdoor Adventures, and I don't know what else businesses you have, Curt, just kicking back and going fishing and enjoying life probably, but you're on your way to go salmon fishing, and one of the guys on my YouTube channel said, I think salmon would be probably a blast to catch. So before we go start talking about local waters, is it a good fight on these fish when you bring them in?
God.
Is it a hoot or what?
Absolutely. Salmon are, they're the toughest, acrobatic, just they're full of speed and muscle. They're a great fish to catch. Obviously bigger is better, but they'll battle you for long minutes at a time, but you're running anywhere from 50 to 200 feet of line out there. They're a great fish to catch, pound for pound type thing. So it's a hoot.
Is there any like slot limits on the big waters up there on the, where did you say, Lake Michigan?
No,
again?
Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
No, it's just it's a big body of water. They do what they can for the fishery. These guys are really, really concerned about their fishery because it's their livelihood. So they do what's best. And if I remember right, limits are 5 per person. And again, sometimes you catch small ones, sometimes you catch big ones, but these fish are pretty shallow up here. So when you do catch a small one, you can let it go.
Okay.
They're not down so deep that it kills them. We're fishing probably the top 50 feet of the water column, and pound for pound, good fights, good eating if you like salmon. Again, they're freshwater. They taste nothing like a salty salmon from the ocean, but we've back home we got a couple great places. I take them we smoke a bunch of it, we grill a bunch of it, and I've learned to make an awesome dip out of it. It's kind of a dip spread that's got a little spicy and a little smoky. So yeah, the whole trip is it's fun. I got two of my brothers at JW with, so we're out to have a good time.
Well, that's the way it should be. Speaking of fishing slot limits, I did some in South Dakota. That was a really tough lake to fish because you could keep 1 over 18, and all we caught were over 18s. So that was a little difficult. But you and I, during the break, we're talking about Lake Sakakawea. This last 2 weeks ago now, we had the Dakota Walleye Classic. Congratulations. You were leader on day one, ended up in second place overall, but congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what's the concern that you've been hearing? Because it seems the fishing was a little bit tough on Sakakawea from the North Dakota Governor's Cup to the Dakota Walleye Classic all the way through. Some people are having some hard times. It's not like it used to be. What's going on?
Well, I don't know if I have the answer, but I'm a little I don't even know if I'm going to say concerned. I'm just a little befuddled over the deal because last year, I mean, we obviously spent a lot of days up there, and our numbers were literally through the roof. We log everything: days, temperature, where, how many, how big. We've been logging things for the last few years for sure, and then some. So our numbers were through the roof. Our size was really good last year. I'm talking as a whole, from spring to summer to fall. This year, our numbers have dropped tremendously as far as our catch numbers. Our size has increased, but we're fishing a lot different. So I understand that part of it, but I'm a little confused why all these teams shouldn't have come in with limits of fish based on last year. Now, water levels were almost identical, 18, 42, 43, something like that, I think is where we were last year. That's where we are this year, give or take. Obviously a reservoir fluctuates, but we've watched the water level come up this year. I mean, it's as stable as it can be. And I'm a little baffled based on last year's numbers and this year's numbers. I don't know if the fish didn't move. No idea. Jason and I talk about it a lot, and Chad and I, and try and figure things out. But and then you have the NWT. So that was my experience coming into the Classic. Then all the guys at the NWT, a few of the guys, the top guys, were saying, "Gosh, there's a lot of 20 to 22 inch fish out here," that they were seeing on their active target, live scope, whatever they're using. And obviously they didn't want those fish. They wanted the bigger fish, but they were talking about the good quality of those mid-sized numbers, which I haven't seen. I haven't caught. But Chad pre-fished with a guy or fished the tournament with a couple of them, and they were seeing them. So did they just show up? And even based on their numbers, I looked at all the results from the NWT, which was basically a week after the Classic. And it was kind of the same thing. The guys that did good did really good, the top 30 guys kind of thing. But there was a lot of teams that struggled. There was a lot of good fishermen that struggled.
Yeah.
With even, they had a little different rules. For the Classic, you could keep 10 and weigh 5. For the NWT, it was keep 5 and weigh 5. You couldn't call, you couldn't overcatch a one-man limit. So I get that, but the number still should have been better, I thought, in both of these tournaments. I thought more teams should have come in with limits of fish, regardless of 17 inches or 27 inches.
Right.
So I'm just baffled from last year to this year why the numbers don't seem to be there.
So you said you're fishing a little different. Can you share with that, or are you one of those secret guys that don't say, "I'm not sharing"?
No, I mean, no, it's no secret. I mean, you watch the NWT guys, and all the guys placing in the top are using forward-facing sonar. It's definitely a game changer in the fishing industry. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. The bad part is the guys running it or the guys catching all the fish, and your co-partners and or family, friends in the back of the boat struggle just because of the style that it is. I mean, you're literally picking out fish and casting to those fish individually. You're not trolling. You're not You're just running your trolling motor hard and looking for individual marks. So we started doing it last year, Chad and I, and we got our feet wet with it, got a little better with it. This year it's pretty much been nonstop from spring to summer. We're learning. There's still a lot to learn. I think fishing is such a wide industry. There's so many different tactics, bait, tackle, rods, line use, jig use, bait use. There's just so many options that there's always something to use and something to learn. So for me, it's kind of fun. It's been a whole new style. I love to jig fish. Jason and I grew up doing it on the Missouri River, did a lot of seminars, talking to people, teaching people. It's been my favorite, my go-to. I'm not a troller. I'm not a live bait rigger. I did it, in the past to catch fish, but if I can hold a rod in my hand and cast to a fish, that's just what I like to do. So this style of fishing is pretty fun for me.
So you're doing live scope, and I've never seen one, never been part of that era. I'm kind of short on time here, but do you think that's the way fishing is going to be going? Is people going to be more and more of this, and that's what's going to be happening?
Well, if you want to tournament fish, yes. If you want to go family fish, maybe not. It's going to be. I've talked, and trust me, I'm no young pup anymore either. But some of the old dogs trying to teach them new tricks, they don't want to do it. Mm-hmm. But if you want to compete, yes. Again, if you want to just go out family fish, pulling bottom bouncers is a great way to do it. But the problem is now, if you got a lot of numbers of fish in the water, you can go out and troll around and probably do fine. But if your numbers are depleted or they're not as good, now I want to find those individual fish and know that they're there for sure, instead of just trusting my down scan or side scan stuff. So it's going to go both ways.
Yeah, it's interesting, when you see the future of what fishing industry is going to be in. I know Jesse and I talked about this last weekend, and there's going to be some tournaments. I think bass tournaments are starting to limit how many screens and how many inches of screens you can have in a boat, because some of these guys are getting out of it looks like a Pimp My Ride, and they have screens all over their boat. But we'll come back here on the second half of the program. Curt, stay with me here. Curt Shirado is my guest here talking fishing. You got questions, comments, concerns, live scope questions here, and the future of tournaments. We'll talk about that. 888-932-5682. That's 888-9-DAKOTA if you want to call in, and it automatically goes on hold, and we'll get to your calls as we're going through. And we're also live chatting on my YouTube channel. You can still text me as well. Back after these messages. Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, bowmanlivestockmarketing.com.
Agriculture is a community of hard work, passion, optimism for the future, and a commitment to the livestock and land. For over 80 years, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been a leader in ag financing. Our local lending team knows the industry and the challenges, from droughts to winter blizzards. Stop by one of our branches today in your work boots or cowboy boots. You're always welcome.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Freedom Repair. Whether it's a tractor, baler, your cutter, your combine, or air seeder, Freedom Repair comes to you and helps you get fixed up and back in the field. 19 plus years experience. Give Lucas Kelly a call at 701-440-1945. That's 701-440-1945. Freedom Repair, veteran owned and operated. MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Mo Rest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer.
Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty would like to invite you to their next equipment sale coming up on Wednesday, August 7th. It's the Weisenberger Retirement Auction out of New Rockford, North Dakota. On Wednesday, August 14th, it's an online-only Upper Midwest August 2024 equipment auction. And August 15th is the Bricks Farm Equipment Retirement Auction out of Breckenridge, Minnesota. For more information and a bid with confidence, go to Pfeiffers.com today.
For over 80 years, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been a leader in ag financing because we understand the business of creating relationships is more than an interest rate. Agriculture is a foundation to the community, and we are here to help your operation expand, grow, and continue to the next generation. Talk to our ag lending team today.
Community looking out for you. At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, BowmanLivestockMarketing.com. Pfeiffer's Auction and Realty would like to invite you to their next equipment sale coming up on Wednesday, August 7th. It's the Weisenberger Retirement Auction out of New Rockford, North Dakota. On Wednesday, August 14th, it's an online-only Upper Midwest August 2024 equipment auction. And August 15th is the Bricks Farm Equipment Retirement Auction out of Breckenridge, Minnesota. For more information and a bid with confidence, go to Pfeiffers.com today.
On that road, don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. It is Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition as we are talking with Curt Shirado from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV, heading his way to Lake Michigan, going salmon fishing, or as they say in Canada, salmon fishing, right? You go to Canada quite a bit too, so I mean.
Oh yeah.
All right, so before the break, we were discussing the side imaging, the live imaging now, live scopes that people are putting on their boats, and the amount of equipment some of these guys are doing. So the Dakota Walleye Classic, as we discussed, you know, the guys that are bringing in their limits definitely are taking advantage of this equipment and using it correctly. There's people like a lot of us that don't have this. Are you going to start seeing these walleye tournaments get to the point where it's just kind of the higher dollar people that can get in on these things?
You know, I don't know. Fishermen are kind of their own breed. No matter what, if you're catching fish and I'm not, most of those guys go out and do what they have to do. They'll spend a lot of money on a lot of things to catch fish.
Right.
I mean, baits are a perfect example. I mean, you catch one on this bait and I have none of them. I go out and buy 5 of them,
right,
and then I'll catch them tomorrow and never again. So their fishermen don't want to get beat out. So they're gonna invest it one way or another. And you can obviously there's different levels. You can set this up for less money, or you can, go all in type thing. So there's different levels. My setup is good. There's bigger monitors. Those guys are running large monitors. I don't have them. Someday I'll probably work into that when I'm ready to move over. But it's an investment, no question about it. And there's different ways to set it up. And in my mind, I'm a trolling. If you don't have it on your trolling motor, it's pretty tough. A lot of guys have these portable shuttles that they move around their boat, and then they can use them for ice fishing and stuff.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
It works and it's okay. It works the same. Everything's, but it's just not as user friendly when you're out there. It's just not.
Well, let's go to the phone lines here, Curt, and see we got some. I see my fishing partners calling in. We're taking notes on how to get more fish in the boat here. Jesse, you're on with Curt.
Well, first things first, I got to correct you on some pre-show stuff.
Okay.
I forgot the live bait in the pickup.
Well, that too, but the first thing is the prayer you were whining about, because you know how churchy I am. The Lord's Prayer, the full actual version, unfortunately, and I am Catholic too, but the full version is actually the Lutheran version, because I don't want them Lutherans mad at us.
No,
we don't need another holy war here over the Lord's Prayer.
I never said on the pre-show that there was one that was before the other. I said it's comical to when you have Lutherans and Catholics and everybody says the Lord's Prayer, and when the Catholics are done, we're done, and the Lutherans keep chanting something else. I said it's funny.
Good. It makes me giggle every time. Every time the prayer starts, I start looking around to see who the Lutherans are. It is a good
glad
time.
You're correcting him and not me, though.
Yeah.
No, everything you guys said, talking to a lot of people about the live scopes, and it is the newest, latest, greatest, like you said, Curt. My coworker over in Washburn, he fished the Governor's Cup, and he told us, you got to go get number 11 flicker shads. So we were looking for damn flicker shads, because that's what they were catching them on that day. And it's just ridiculous, but it is, it's no different than coyote tournaments. It's what caliber are you using? What grain bullet? And well, if you don't find the coyotes or you don't know how to shoot, it doesn't matter. It's the same with fishing. But no, we did. We headed for North Shore that second day, and we were about 2/3 of the way across the lake, and it wasn't super rough, but all of a sudden Scott looked at me. Scott looked at me and threw out a few choice words, and I stopped the boat. I thought maybe something he saw was broken or something. I looked at him and I said, "What?" And he goes, "The worms are in the pickup." And we just sat there and looked at each other, and we're like, well, I guess we're using plastic power bait and cranks today, and away we went. To heck with it. Sometimes you learn new stuff by being forced to learn new stuff.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, we had an interesting second day. So,
well, I think a lot of people had interesting days up there. Ours, fortunately, were interesting in a good way. We had probably the best hour of fishing I've had in a tournament ever on day one. Day two was just a grind to keep up with it, and I knew what we were up against on day two, that we had to keep a good weight, and I knew Tom enough to know he's going to be able to replicate what he can do, and there was plenty of other good fishermen out there that could rebound and do what they have to do. So it's just been interesting all around the whole year. I'm again, what I said earlier, I'm just a little baffled on some of the situations, and it's not making sense to me, but it's been a fun year. It's been a great year. It's been a learning year for me and us. Chad and I spent a lot of hours out there together, and he's out again today. I know that, but it's always a learning curve out there, and I think we can all learn from each other. We can go out and have fun. There's so many different presentations. You do what you want to do as long as you can go out and catch fish and have fun. If you want to spend the money and invest the time, fine.
Yeah, you said it. There's all kinds of different levels. Even when you come to side imaging and live scope and all this stuff, you can do it on a 7-inch graph or you can do it on a 21-inch graph. Do you want to spend $600 or do you want to spend $3,600 on your graph?
Yeah,
so there's something for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. So nobody's out of the game. It's just where you want to go, and you know, in any competition, whether it's coyote hunting, fishing, you name it. If you're going to compete at the highest level, you're going to spend the money. You're going to buy the best on the street. You know, you're going to do all that. You're going to have all the best stuff. And I don't disagree with that with anybody. If you buy the best you can afford, and what you really love to do, if you have a passion to golf, to play tennis, to fish, to hunt, you buy the best you can afford and go out and trust me. I want to have fun, and we do, trust me. But there's bigger and better out there. But is it necessary? No. Is it nice? Absolutely. but you
Right.
just do what your budget allows you to do, and what your level of competition. Wherever you want to be there, you can get involved.
Let me ask you both
Well, the
this
other-
question here. Hold on there, Jesse. Do you think that there's going to become a time that there's going to be tournaments where it's like, if you have, no live scopes available for this tournament, or are you going to just see open tournaments? You think there's going to be a change in tournament strategy for some of these people to still have the numbers?
Curt, go ahead. I have a theory on this, but go ahead first.
Well, I don't know that I do have a theory on that. I think just the way times have been going, there's a lot of negative talk about it already in some of the tournaments. States and places are thinking of banning it. I don't know. You're going to end up with mixed things, maybe, but it's the way of the future. Technology is going to keep advancing. It's only going to get better. I mean, right now, some of these images are pretty tough to see when these fish are stuck to the bottom. Today, I can't imagine how good it's going to be in 3 or 5 years,
Right.
but it's gonna.
Right.
It ain't going to get worse. I can guarantee you that. So people are either going to have to adapt or, let it go.
My theory on that, Curt, is this. You've got major sponsors of your tournaments. For instance, Dakota Walleye Classic, Shields has come on as a pretty major sponsor. What does Shields do? They sell fishing gear.
Yeah,
they
don't
sell
care.
poles. They sell
Yep.
lures. They sell live scopes. If you start banning stuff that they sell, I feel that you're going to see sponsorships fall off, and it's going to be tougher to hold these tournaments, especially the ones that have decent money as prizes. If you start losing your sponsorships, your prize dollars start going down, and then your participant numbers go down.
Yeah.
So I just don't think especially in your major tournaments like the Governor's Cup, the Dakota Walleye Classic, the Last Chance, I don't see them ever limiting it. Now, if you have a small local tournament, a Red Butte, they got a 40 residents out there. They hold their own tournament. Yeah. That's a beer drinking tournament. It's a go out and they weigh everything. They do total inches of fish. That 12-pound catfish that Scott caught on the second day would have put us in the money in that tournament. So it just
that's where some of it has to go to. I think they need to. Right. Some of those smaller ones need to be fun. I do like the inch thing. It doesn't make it fun for the crowd to not see the fish, but it's a safer, better way to do it. But on the other hand, with all that, you're going to start losing competitors too because they can't compete. Yeah. They're going to say, well, I'm not going to do this because I can't compete with those guys. So on one hand, yes, I agree with your sponsorship. They sell everything. They don't care what they sell. If it's, 10 live scopes or active targets and 2 fishing rods or vice versa. They just want to sell stuff, but you got to have competitors to make it all work. So there's got to be a nice balance there someplace. And they're going to figure it out day by day, year by year. Things are going to change. People are going to adapt. Tournaments are going to adapt. Rules are going to adapt. We'll figure it all out. We just got to keep going out and having fun and keep learning things.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of rules, Scott, on the Dakota Walleye Classics website on Facebook, they have already started following up with the competitors that are following that page, asking for suggestions for the 2025 tournament. They're already starting, and one of the things that's been brought up is doing a catch, photograph, and release tournament. And I get the idea of it.
I don't like it
of not taking all those fish out of the lake, but it takes all the excitement out. The one guy said, "Well, are we in this for the excitement of the crowd at the weigh-in, or are we in this for the fishery and the fishing?" Well, I'm in it for both.
But if catch and release, you're going to have some of those fish are going to die when you release them. Okay, so
absolutely,
you might as well keep fishing. Might as well keep
35,
them
40 feet or more.
Might as well keep them and put them to use.
Yeah, it's hard. That's such a debate that you could go on forever, and both sides would have, I think, very good points. I'm not a big debater. I mean, I obviously got my own opinions with things, and again, just what you two are talking about, I think there's pros and cons with it all. So it's a tough one. I mean, where it's all going to go, we don't know.
Let me ask you this, Curt. What do you think about having the third person in some of these boats that were technically just filming, but what do you think? The other boats, I think it should just stay with two people.
I'm not opposed because I think entertainment is entertainment, and obviously I've done enough filming in the last 20 years of my life, and it's innocent as far as if I'm not sure if you're concerned if that guy's going to be doing anything with it, but I love I don't know if any of you listeners out there are involved on YouTube. The NWT has a crew going out. It's called Tour Level Gold. It is a great production of a handful of these pros out there fishing, pre-fishing, a little bit of their lifestyle, and then the actual tournament days of these 4 major tournaments and the championship. And they release 2 episodes per tournament. They'll do Lake Sakakawea right before the championship. They'll release those 2 episodes. And it's a great production. I mean, me videoing, I love to see the fishing aspect of it. You learn about these guys. But I love the production. They do a great job. It's just a great thing. So for me, a third guy televising, or video, I'm not opposed at all to it. It does nothing bad on my mind. They're not harming anything, and they're not helping. They're just there to do their job.
Yeah. I'm just curious because you heard some grumbling from some of the folks in the crowd.
Yeah. I guess I don't know the negatives of it. I'm not sure what they're complaining about. I guess I didn't hear it, so I'm not sure.
The only complaining I heard is when you get a boat like that with a third guy filming, and there's 2 to 3, sometimes 4 live scopes on a couple of these boats. Now there was one boat that I know of that had somebody filming at the Dakota Walleye Classic, and I have no idea how many live scopes they had. Nothing. They're quality fishermen. It wouldn't have mattered if there was one guy on that boat. If it was the right guy, they were going to catch the fish.
That's usually what it is anyway. It's usually one guy.
It is. Scott caught all of our fish. I didn't catch a damn fish the whole weekend. So it's just the way it goes sometimes, and so it doesn't matter, like you said earlier, if you're playing darts and one guy's complaining because the flights are too long, or if you're hunting coyotes and they're mad because one guy brings in a buttload because he got lucky. It's the nature of competition.
Absolutely. You either got to join the crowds or get out. I mean, there's always frustration, no question about it.
So a text message comes in and says, what about not allowing the professionals to fish these tournaments?
What's a professional? In the fishing industry, what's a professional? So they had the NWT this weekend up on Sakakawea. There's roughly half the crew were touring professionals, we'll call them, that are doing all 4 events. The other 60 competitors were locals that really didn't need a lot of criteria or credibility to join that crew as a professional. So it made up half of their fleet for our locals just to enter, pay the entry fee, and they could fish it as a professional. If they wanted to compete against the best, that's what they did. So a professional, quote, fisherman is pretty hard in this day and industry, pretty hard to separate and say, I'm a professional.
And there's Curt, there's some people that come to these check-ins and weigh-ins just to see those guys be there.
Absolutely.
That's part of the draw.
They're teachers too. We lost to a professional. He's great guy. No hard feelings, no nothing. Absolutely. We wanted to win, and we knew we were up against a lot of great anglers out there. So, if they're in it, they're in it. I mean, you just got to push harder, try harder, and you're up against the best. So,
for me, Curt, I consider you guys professionals. All the UOA guys, your teachers, and in fact, you sell concrete forms and whatnot to my neighbor. But I consider you guys professionals just on the level that you've got the show, you're avid outdoorsmen, and you guys fish and hunt a lot. But I tell you what, the one problem I was thinking earlier when you guys were talking about a subject, the other thing that really makes a difference in these, especially fishing tournaments, is the time. The time to go, especially with these live scopes, to pre-fish, to locate fish. Well, 3 years ago, Scott wasn't able to come, and my wife jumped in the boat with me for the tournament. We ended up 4th after day 1, and we caught enough the second day to win money in a 2003 Crestliner. And the first day of the tournament was the first day that boat was wet that year. So for me, if I can even stay off when they used to print the results on paper, there was 4 pages of results.
Okay.
For me, as an absolute part-time amateur fisherman, if I can stay off the 4th page, I had a hell of a good tournament, and I'm happy. And I'm coming to see you guys that know what the heck you're doing.
Oh.
See how good you do.
Well, this
It's
didn't
fun.
sound good for Scott being on the boat compared to your wife. Okay.
Well,
But here, hold on. We're getting
I
close.
didn't say that.
We're getting close to the end here. I'm excited, Curt. I'm very excited because Waylon just messaged me, said we had a guy order a brand new Vexus, had it loaded with 5 12-inch Garmins with live scopes, and I'm crossing my fingers that was Jesse Flatt that ordered this boat for next year.
Yeah, that was me, all right. $200,000 boat.
That sounds like a hell of a setup. I would like that one.
So yeah, Waylon message me back and tell me approximately what that cost, because that's another big thing too. I mean, everything's getting higher. Heck, you can't get a pickup anymore for under $100,000. Sometimes you got to go used on everything. So, but I tell you what, we're going to continue a little bit after the after-hour show here, but going out to Kins, Kinns, Kins Sport Fishing. If people want to look it up, Curt and Jason, they say that this is the place to go if you want to go salmon fishing.
It is. It's a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anybody that you want to drop names to contact out there or not, Curt?
They can either call Troy, one of the owners. Like I said, they've all become friends of ours out there. Just call Kins, ask for Troy. We've worked with them for years. They're just good people. You'll have fun no matter what. You can contact Jason or I. We have all the information. We've been there enough. We've had great days. We've had some tough days, so we can give you the reality of it all and maybe point you in the right direction if you're interested, when to go, what time of the year maybe to go for certain things. We're happy to help out. We're always available on social media stuff, so you can yell either way.
That's good. Always talk to somebody before you go out and spend the money, because guaranteed you're going to get a better experience. Curt, thank you so much. Jesse, stay with it. We'll call a little bit after hours. Waylon says it was about a north of $160,000 setup on that boat. So Jesse, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm excited to go fishing next year in the Dakota Walleye Classic with you. Keep it right here. You can find more of my daily program in all these radio stations. Have a great weekend. Eat some meat, drink some milk, wear fur and wool, and keep fishing, even if you don't have $160,000 to spend on it. All right, stations, thank you so much. Appreciate it. And we're back on the YouTube channel only.
I like your comment at the end of that, Scott. You're recording. Eat some meat, drink some milk, wear some fur, and I missed.
I said wear fur and wool. Yeah.
Eat some meat and drink some milk. I like all that. That's the way we're brought up, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Done right.
160, Jesse. I thought you were worried about. You were pissy about it.
That was a little lower than I thought, actually.
Yeah, no, they come in here. That sounds pretty legit.
Yeah, it does.
The electronics are playing a big part of that, right?
But you look at how much I spend on, on stuff that I like to have fun with.
No,
sure. I mean, if fishing's your thing and that's what all right, go ahead and spend it. If you can afford it, do it.
Yeah. People are going to do what they want to do and
play with it.
Right now, Curt, I am looking at upgrading because I'm just getting sick of getting pushed around in this aluminum boat by not very much wind and even a used boat. I mean, I was looking at, they had a 2014 Tuffy, which I don't know much about them, but it looked nice. I haven't went and looked at it yet. There's a 2007 Ranger. There's some early 2000s Warriors. I want to go to a fiberglass boat, but even these boats with a 200, 225, 250, even a two-stroke motor on there still, and a kicker and a trolling motor and a couple graphs, you're looking at 28 to 36,000.
Yeah,
for a 20-year-old boat, Yeah,
no, the boats. Yeah, God dang it, the market, COVID really killed all that stuff. But they held your value back then, and they're doing it now still. But I would,
that's crazy.
it depends where you fish, what you like to fish. If you're going to be on any bigger waters or anything, fiberglass, in my mind, is the way to go.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, to a point, bigger is better. I'm not going to lie about that either. But most guys are, 20 footers are pretty common nowadays. Yeah. They get the job done. I would probably keep you if you can. If you buy used, I'd probably, if you can, push into the 4-stroke motors. I don't think I'd go backwards into the 2-strokes anymore.
Yeah, if a guy can find them for a decent price.
Yeah, you just got to find. In my mind, you're better off paying a little extra for somebody that took care of their boat and kind of know what you're buying. Chad fished with two pros one on Thursday, one on Friday. The first guy was super. Day 2, the gentleman he drew, he described this individual's boat. I wouldn't buy this at all. I mean, people don't take care of their stuff. I mean, it was an absolute disaster inside. It just, people buy, $40, $50, $100, $120,000 boats, use them for a year or two or whatever, and just wreck the crap out of them. So it's, and then next guy will take the best care of it. You just got to take your time and find those boats if you're going to buy a used one. Take your time, look, and if you're just an average weekend fisherman, those boats will last you forever. The hours you can put on those boats now are insane.
So the mayor of Mobridge says it's a good idea. Spend at least $40K or more on a bigger motor. And then Whalen says, Jesse, lots of people have been looking at that Tuffy you're talking about. He said, just get the demo 206 Triton that he had last year. It's all ready to go.
I don't have $60,000 to throw to both though, Whalen. If you'll borrow me some of that rich man parts money.
He never said buy it. He says, come get it.
Oh, well, yeah. Hell yeah. We'll demo the hell out of that thing. Like Curt was saying, man, we'll see what she's made of if that's the case.
Yeah, that's, you guys were talking about the weather up there, and the weather where I was on that lake, I was on the South Shore most of the time. We crossed to the North Shore, but both days the weather wasn't supposed to get as windy as it did. We had a pretty damn rough ride. One of those
the Friday
moments.
Was rough.
Yeah,
wow,
it was brutal. Yeah. And then I think it slacked off both days later in the afternoon. I think the weather chilled a little bit, and we had great mornings and great afternoons, great early, great late, but tough in the middle. The wind came up, and for anybody that's using active target stuff and doing that type of fishing, the calmer the better. I mean, you don't need a walleye chop anymore. The fish we were looking at, I don't want any chop. So, but it got a little nasty.
We tried to go west, and we made it as far as Beaver and said to hell with it. So we slipped back into Beaver and Little Soldier, and we saw a lot of fish, but just couldn't get them to bite. And
we caught a lot of fish, but it wasn't the right species.
Okay.
Or smalls. We caught a lot of 12 to 14-inch walleyes, but it's just the crest liners, there's a ton of them out there, but they have the name wet liner for a reason, man. We looked like we took a bath by the time we got to Beaver.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no matter what, it's I run a 20-footer and Chad runs a 22 now. So, and I'm not going to lie, the bigger the better. It's just safer. That lake is huge. I mean, I spend 90% of my time up there nowadays, and less.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
River, but it's just. You just got to pick and choose your battles. You don't have to go 50 miles an hour in those waves. I'd rather protect my equipment and my body and get there safe. And you're going to be 3 minutes behind the next guy, so big deal. If that's going to make or break your day, so be it.
So Curt, if a guy's going to look at updating, go to fiberglass, go to 20 or better. And
on the lake, and
4-stroke if you can.
4-stroke, a bigger motor.
Yeah.
Start out with those things. That way you can at least get to your place.
Yeah.
And go from there. Yeah.
19 footers are nice too. They're a small compromise. So there's some of that stuff that you can compromise your price on. Your boat, motor, and trailer. Well, your trailer not, but your size of your boat and the size of your motor, you can compromise a little bit. No matter if you get a 19-footer or a 22-footer. What you buy for electronics is up to you. You can either have a 9-inch screen or you can have a 16-inch screen. So electronics, it ain't going to matter. But you can put a 200 horse on some of those 19-footers and be okay. I mean, if you don't like to battle the rough weather, you can still, cut your costs a little bit on some of this stuff. But it's up to each person, what level they want to be at, what kind of weather they want to fish in. If you're going to go in tournaments, no matter what, you're going to be in bad weather sooner or later, and you just got to know that, know your limits.
Waylon says,
and the other thing is,
I got to get this in here. Waylon says they redesigned the hull on the Crestliner now. That's what he's running.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he did get a Crestliner this spring. I saw that. The other thing is, Curt,
they're nice. Absolutely.
What year did they redesign the hull on them? That's what I want to know. What year and up
that
is that
I don't
redesign?
know.
Waylon, let me know.
Waylon can tell us that. But it matters, too, if you're buying a boat for just 2 people to fish out of all the time and tournament fish, or whether you're buying a boat to try to take family in. If you've got 4 or 5 people and you're trying to fish with kids, and then you need room.
Sure.
So, like I've got a friend that just bought a aluminum Warrior tiller, and his fishing partner for the tournament, they had a 2060 Warrior with a 200 tiller on it.
Sure.
Great boat. They're narrower, so they cut them big waves nicer. But there's just not the room in that boat to take my wife and 2 kids that think they have to bring half the damn house with.
No, and that's no different than vehicles. You got to buy what fits your wants and needs. You there's not one boat, not one truck, one house that suits everybody's needs for everything. So you just got to find what's right for you. It's a pretty easy equation. What works for me doesn't work for you, and vice versa. So you got to buy what makes you happy and what works for your budget and for your lifestyle.
Well, Waylon says they switched the hulls last year, so.
Okay, so just this 2024, okay. So I'm headed back to the lake, boys. I'm having boat problems, actually. I had to go to town to get a battery for my Sea Ray because my sister's up here, and we went to put the boat in the water last night, and it wouldn't start. So now I'm playing mechanic this morning. But, Curt, you have a great time out there. Hope you catch some big salmon, and I'll catch up with you 2 later.
All right, thanks,
Absolutely.
Jesse.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye. All right, I'm going to let you go too, Curt. I'm going to try to sneak out and move some cows here this morning while it's still a little bit cool-ish, and go that way there. So.
Yep, you say hi to your wife, Dixie. Say hi to the Lamborns and everybody else out west, and we'll cross paths again sometime soon. And don't be a stranger. Call again sometime. We'll chat some more.
Sounds good, man. You have yourself a good day.
All right. Have a great day.
Bye.
Yep. Bye.
Well, got a 1997 Sylvan 17-footer for sale. That's good stuff. Hey, folks, have yourself a good day. I'm going to go try to get some cows scooted across the prairie dog town really quick. So have yourself a good one. I fish from shore. Ice fishing is where I can get offshore. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they would ever have just a shore fishing tournament or not. That'd be kind of fun. Anyway, hopefully it's Waylon. Keep working on Jesse because he is in the market for an updated fishing boat. So keep working on him, and I guarantee it's going to happen by the end of I guarantee he's going to get a boat somewhere, somehow this year. So just working on it. Josh, thank you. You guys have a great day and enjoy your weekend.